What's up, guys? ZFarls here to break down Team of the Week 3 Ultimate Team Madden 18. It's T.Y. Hilton and Harrison Smith, and we'll find a couple budget guys along the way. So let's dig right in. Also, a favorite defender returns. Possibly going to be one of the best defenders this season also. So let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Carl Lawson. I don't know if you guys remember Manny Lawson. This is who I was like, is that Manny Lawson making a comeback? But obviously he's coming when he was the old Madden sleeper. Carl Lawson, though, nothing here to report. As we scroll up, a couple guys that I'm interested in are Rashawn Melvin. I like him more than Terrence Mitchell. The reason is because he has 87 speed at 6'2" with 78 zone coverage. Obviously, that can increase as the year goes on. I mean, neither of these guys are going to be super serviceable right now, but the fact that you have a player with 6'2" potential and decent zone coverage could make him a better player later in the game if he keeps getting some upgrades. Defensively, Brian Arakpo is a guy I've always liked. I actually like him more than DeMarcus Lawrence. I know they play different positions, but as you dig into the Arakpo, I think the thing that stands out to me is the 77 block shed, and I think that's low. He's always been a guy who's been super strong, super good, budget, edge setting player. And so to see the 77 block shed, that's a sign that he hasn't been that great the last couple seasons, hasn't played up to his potential like he did in Washington. But when you see that he has 91 power move, and then his other move, which is over 90, and then his other moves are actually up at 81, that's very, very good. Now, he doesn't have the speed, but he's not James Harrison, super slow speed, but he does maintain the strength that he's had for a long time. I like this guy as a cheap option, set the edge, and even though he doesn't have the same block shed, he will be even pretty useful as a pass rusher. Plus, 77 zone coverage. That's the stat that really stood out. So think of him as a little bit differently than you have in the past, because he can rush the passer, he can drop into coverage, and he's strong enough. It's just the block shed's really going to be the only question, but I like what he's got. That's the Melvin that we talked about for 9K, and then this is the Lawson, who doesn't have it, but just wanted to shout out Manny Lawson. Next up is, the guy everybody's talking about, Jalen Ramsey. One of the best players last season in Ultimate Team. Even 2 years ago, he wasn't even in. He was a rookie 1 year ago, but he got an item that came in for the draft stuff, and I believe it was one of the best that there was too. 90 speed, 90 acceleration, so great speed. Obviously, that's going to be able to put you right at that 91, 92, where we're seeing the fastest receivers. You match him up with coach adjustments, he'll make plays. 87 man, 86 zone. You love his balance at this point in the season. And his zone is so far away from 91, which is what you want to get to, that it's like it's not like they gave him 90 and it's like, oh, this is a miss. It's like, no, he's leveling up as he goes. He's going to always have the athleticism, and these are always going to be balanced, and that's two very good things. But he's not at the point where he's in that range of having a 91, so that is a key stat. But there's minimal guys with that, and we can talk a little bit about those. But the reason you would get a Ramsey is because you want the 82 hit power and 71 block shed. That's great in the run game. You put him in the slot. You can't afford the Atwater. You can't afford Woodson. Like, he'll take over for some of that. Now, his interception stuff is a little bit low. That's a little bit makes me a little bit nervous. But you can't deny the hit power. You can't deny the athleticism. And then the balance coverage is good. Plus, it continues to get him more items. He's got one now. What if he gets another one? What if he gets another one? And that's where the Ramsey train it goes crazy in your mind, because 1 or 2 items from now, he could be at 91 with 90 hit power and 94 speed. That's nuts. That's nuts, and we want to see that for Ramsey because he's one of the best defenders in Ultimate Team. Lastly, Harrison Smith is a player where 84 speed's a little bit low at free safety. I like the Ramsey more than him. I still think the Ramsey needs to drop down to about 200K or somewhere in that range. You got to see where it settles in at. But he's not at 91. You'd have to see if you can sauce him up to get there. You can't, so I would hold off on Harrison Smith for me and maybe go after a Chris Harris, because you're halfway to a Chris Harris. You're halfway to, Paul Krause, to me, is the best defender in Ultimate Team. I know we didn't really go over his legend last week or anything like that, but if you look at Paul Krause, he's at 92 zone with 90 speed at free safety. And like I said, I know he's more, 1.3, but he's 3 times better than Harrison Smith for my coin. And I love Harrison Smith because of his size, and he just plays really well. With 94 play rec is going to make him play a lot better than you'd think. But I just think the Krause and he has great catch, does the Kraus, is going to make it work for you. So I would save up there rather than go right away for this Harrison Smith. Now, on offense, I think the T.Y. Hilton is better than the Harrison Smith, but I think the Ramsey is legit. So no lineman, but I'll note that this Cam Robinson has 88 strength, and that's something you can't overlook, an 88 strength guy. Even those other two ratings are low, they are above 70. It's not like they're 69 and 64. Like, they're 70-70, so if that's a little line, and then he has 88 strength, you know, super budget. Because other than him, the Ham, no. Geronimo, not quite there. Remmer's not quite there. Mercedes Lewis has 80 strength at tight end. That's not bad, but his run block's a little bit low. But he's 6'6", maybe could do some high points in the back of the end zone. He's just not that athletic at this stage. Jared Goff, I like his balance. 74 speed, 80 throw power is just too low at this point in the season. But you see how he's progressing pretty nicely. If he was to get a few more, he could be pretty good by the end of the season. Kelsey's too low with his pass block for where he is. Now, Kareem Hunt, I did not like the first time. I think I said after week 1 to go with the Cohen over the Hunt. But with Hunt, what you get is now 80 elusive, 81 truck. That's really good balance. Now, neither's 90, but both are 80. And you might be able to have a back that does a little bit of both, plus 87, 87 with the 90 Excel. Plus, Kareem Hunt's now got 2 items, and he could keep progressing too. So keep an eye on this Hunt. I know he's now going to be higher up because of where he falls at 85, but I like the way he's coming together with his elusive and his truck and having some balance. The one thing I would check on him is his strength, and you see it at 75. That's not bad. That's something to keep watching out if he gets to 80. So he's 1 or 2 away, but pretty balanced. Now, Sammy Watkins is not a player I've really ever liked in Madden. I loved him at Clemson. I used to watch him on Saturdays. But his speed has never really truly translated over, and I think the Diggs is going to be better. Now, he's obviously going to cost more. I know some people are using Watkins already, and he is balanced. He is good, but he's a tier down from a lot of the other receivers that I find. Diggs, first of all, he's amazing in real NFL, and he's rock solid in Madden. Now, the T.Y. Hilton outclasses him big time, but it's just that, you know, there's these all-around receivers. You can't pay $300K for this guy. The Emmanuel Sanders, the T.Y. Hiltons, the Diggs, fast guys, but not super fast, not above 90. Good route running, but not above 92 like Edelman. Good catching traffic, but not crazy like a tight end. Good spec, but they're not that tall like Calvin Johnson or somebody else. So they do a lot of things. They're not as good as the Odells, the Julios, and that type, but they're right below it, and you play them in the slot mainly, and they do a little bit of everything. You know, I don't prefer that. I like to have a guy that does one thing, does it well, and put him in a very specific role. This guy's not going to hurt you. He's going to be very good, very solid, but not for $300K. I just don't think he can go there. If he drops down a bit, you could look at him in a couple weeks. And then the last dude I want to talk about is the T.Y. Hilton. And the reason I like him, 91 speed puts him at the highest end. I thought they might do a Brandon Cooks, but then I think there was a flashback Brandon Cooks with that level of speed. So 91 puts you at a high end, which means you can streak him. He can beat defenders deep, which is more than the Diggs can do. He has 92 route running, which I have this up because the only players in the game with no boost, no power-ups, no nothing is Edelman, who we've talked a lot about, and who has continued to go up since we've been talking about him, and then T.Y. Hilton. Now, Edelman does have more catch and traffic, but T.Y. Hilton does something completely different because 85 speed versus 91, you can burn people versus you can't burn people. But that 92 route running is crucial for certain routes, certain areas of the field, certain things you want to do, especially competing against guys that have that high zone coverage. And, you know, he's 5'9". He's not really going to be a spec guy, but he's still got some pretty good spec. There was a final edition T.Y. Hilton 2-3 years ago, amazing. The next year he didn't really have many items, but it looks like this year he's back and crushing it. Andrew Luck's not even back, and this guy's getting Team of the Week. So great elusive after the catch. He's short, solid catch and traffic. The Edelman beats him there, and the Edelman beats him on speed. It doesn't beat him on speed, but beats him on price. So price, you have to really factor, do you want T.Y. Hilton to be able to take the top off the defense? And can you afford to pay that extra money to have him be able to take the top of the defense, and then will you use it? Or do you need more of a route running guy and you throw routes over the middle? Like if I was T.Y. Hilton, I'd throw quick outs. I'd use the 92, I'd put him on an out, and I wouldn't throw him across traffic, and I'd see if I could beat guys. Edelman, you could run ins and get that route running and then beat guys across the middle, and he would hang on to it more likely with the catch in traffic, but he's not going to go over the top. But if you say, well, I don't really need him to go over the top, I have a John Ross on the bench for 10K, and I sub him out when I think I have a mismatch, then you don't need to pay the extra for the T.Y. Hilton, you can get the Edelman for 165 if you need that route running role. But really, those are the only two guys in the game that do it at this level right now. So those are my thoughts on Team of the Week 3. I'm sure I missed a few hidden ratings. You guys are really good at bringing those out. Hopefully this video helps you guys, and hopefully you're digging in on stuff. I know a lot of people using that Cohen that we recommended. We're always trying to update you guys with budget players and stuff that you can add to your lineup. Hopefully Jalen Ramsey, I think he's the best of the bunch this week, especially for what it means for the future. And then I really, really like T.Y. Hilton. Obviously, he's the master, but I just think he's a very, very good master. I think Paul Krause, I'm glad we got to talk about him a little bit. And I think that's the best defender in Ultimate Team by a long shot. So that's where I go. That's where I keep my coins, unless I have a very specific use for one of these guys. I just keep saving up for the Krause, and he's going to be there for a long time. All right? Until next time, guys, this is Farls reminding you to lock up and stay hungry.